In today's video we will be taking a look at interesting new device FIMI Palm. It is basically a combination of action camera optics and a tiny gimbal. Of course, it is heavily inspired by DJI Osmo Pocket, although it is quite a bit different device overall. In this video we will take a look at the performance and the feature set of FIMI Palm, and I will try to help you decide whether you should get one. If you are not familiar with FIMI, it is a sub-brand of Xiaomi, so it is not a garage company by any means. The basic concept of FIMI Palm is quite interesting. It uses 1/2.6-inch sensor combined with 14mm full-frame equivalent lens mounted on a tiny gimbal. It is basically a cross between an action camera and Osmo Pocket. I think that it is competing with action cameras more than with the Osmo Pocket because of the type of footage that you will get out of it. Osmo Pocket has a very different look because it uses 26mm full-frame equivalent lens, so I don't think that the Osmo Pocket and FIMI Palm are direct competitors. The price of FIMI Palm is also very reasonable in my opinion, and you can check that in the description. Palm is a very small device. It is definitely possible to carry it in your pocket. It is a bit larger than the Osmo Pocket, but not by much. It weighs 120 grams, so it is also very light. It comes with gimbal protector, which is also heavily inspired by PGY-TEC gimbal protector for DJI Osmo Pocket. The build quality is actually pretty good. It is made of high quality plastics and it feels quite solid. The bottom part is rubberized, so you can safely place it on a flat surface. There is a mounting point for hand strap, which is very nice. There is also a 1/4-inch mount on the backside for mounting the device, which might be very useful. Overall, it is a solid feeling device, so no complaints here. So how about the image quality? It is actually surprisingly good. As I have said, it uses 1/2.6-inch sensor and 14mm full-frame equivalent f2.4 lens, which is pretty standard action camera setup. It can shoot 4K in 25 or 30p, up to 100 megabits per second, and I'm very happy to say that the 4K quality is up there with the best action cameras. Just like the Osmo Pocket or GoPro camera, it has default picture setting called Natural. It uses typical consumer camera processing with a ton of sharpening, contrast and saturation. It will work fine for casual consumer use. Fortunately, there is also a flat color setting called F-Lock. It is not a real log of course, but it looks great. There is no sharpening and the colors look much more natural. This footage is also very easy to work with. It can also shoot in H.265, which is a great way to save space on your hard drive if you have sufficient editing machine. It also has excellent dewarp feature. For me, this is actually one of the most important things on any action camera. This feature completely fixes the distortion and it gets rid of that cheap action camera fisheye look. On FIMI Palm it works great, so big thumbs up for that. It can also shoot 50 or 60p in 2.7K. 2.7K still provides good image quality, so if you need or want 60p, it is definitely usable. Just like the action cameras, FIMI Palm is not really meant for low-light shooting. Thanks to that F-Lock setting without sharpening, the low-light footage looks quite natural despite the noise. The focus is fixed on the lens, which means that everything is in focus all the time because of the depth of field is deep enough for that. That means that there is no autofocus on FIMI Palm. Overall, the image quality is a very positive surprise for me. It is more than usable, and I have to say that it is among the best action cameras on the market. The main difference in comparison with any action camera is that gimbal. As I've explained in previous videos, gimbal is very different type of stabilization in comparison with digital stabilization, which is what most action cameras use. It can keep the horizon leveled, it can smooth out movements, make precise panning with the joystick, track an object, and so on. That means that the gimbal can never be replaced by optical image stabilization, in-body image stabilization, or digital stabilization. Ultra-wide footage is always easier to stabilize than for example 26mm lens, so the result is very good. The footage is super stable and very smooth. This is indeed very efficient system. Very surprising thing for me is the walking. That is generally a weakness of every gimbal because the up and down axis is not stabilized. On Palm it looks really good with that ultra-wide field of view, which is again much easier to stabilize. Overall the footage is very stable, I have no complaints here. The gimbal has 4 modes. The first one is follow mode, where the gimbal follows pan and tilt axis and locks the roll axis. In tilt lock mode, it locks tilt and roll axis and it follows the pan axis. In FPV mode, it follows all axes including the roll axis. In lock mode, it locks all axes and it keeps the camera pointed in one direction. There is also face tracking mode, where it will automatically detect a face in the frame and it will keep it in the center of the frame. This works well and it is very helpful if you are a vlogger. It should be able to track other objects, but I wasn't able to make that work. Regarding the handling, there is a multifunctional button and a joystick which also doubles as a button. Multifunctional button turns the device on and off, it starts recording, double press resets the device position, and triple press rotates the gimbal into selfie mode. The joystick actually works surprisingly well. You can set the speed in 6 steps. In low speed settings, you can get very smooth panning with the joystick, which is super useful. If you long press the joystick, you can move it up and down to zoom in and out. When you move it left and right, you can set the exposure compensation. The screen is of course quite small at 1.22 inches. It is still good enough for composing. The user interface is again heavily inspired by the Osmo Pocket, which means that it is very good. You can still change all of the settings using this screen. The interface is very well organized, again, just like on the Osmo Pocket. It also has all of the trick features from the Osmo Pocket. My most favorite special feature of FIMI Palm or Osmo Pocket is Panorama, where it stitches together 9 stills, which works great. It does so in camera, so you just need to hold it fairly still while the pictures are being taken. There is also a time-lapse mode and there should be motion lapse, but I wasn't able to set up the motion lapse yet. FIMI Palm also takes nice stills. These have 12 megapixel resolution. I like the colors in stills as well, these are quite saturated and pretty vibrant. DNG RAW files are also available, so if you like to shoot in post, RAW files will give you a good amount of information. FIMI Palm also has integrated Wi-Fi, so you can connect it to your Android or iOS device without additional accessories. By now, you probably know what was the main influence for the app design. Again, that means that the app is indeed very easy to use and it is really good. I have had occasional reliability issues, but it works well most of the time. You can use the app to change all of the settings, control the gimbal, review and store footage, and so on. Palm uses integrated 1000 mAh battery. FIMI claims 240 minutes of Full HD 30p video on a single charge. It should realistically last a day of typical holiday shooting, so I'm okay with that. It is of course charged through USB-C port. To sum up, I can say that the FIMI Palm is a very positive surprise for me. I expected it to be just another Osmo Pocket knockoff, but I can say that it is a very refined and well-performing device. It provides very good image quality in combination with efficient gimbal stabilization. For me, the FIMI Palm is mostly about the combination of that ultra-wide footage, gimbal stabilization, and pocket size. As I have said, I don't think that it is mainly a competitor for the Osmo Pocket because it produces very different footage, but I will make a separate video about that. On the other hand, I think that for some use cases it is a very interesting alternative to an action camera, especially for those who use action camera mostly as a point-and-shoot camera. I will also compare it to GoPro Hero 8 Black in a separate video. Overall, I like the FIMI Palm a lot. I intend to use it a lot once the global situation allows it, and I can highly recommend it. So that's it for this video, thank you for watching, I hope that you liked this video and that you found it to be useful. Stay tuned for more videos and maybe consider subscribing if you don't want to miss my future content. I appreciate your feedback in form of thumbs up or thumbs down. If you would like to ask anything or share your opinion, please do so in the comment section, and see you next time.